So far I've told you the wisdom of self-knowledge. Well, you know, okay, why didn't that work? Why is Arjuna still standing there? Why doesn't he just, you know, why doesn't he just follow Krishna's advice, get up and fight? If he understands what Krishna is saying, then he says, okay, drive me back. I got it clear. I understand what I have to do. I looked at all these guys. I know what to do. Let's get this war started. Huh? That's what he should do if he understood what Krishna is saying. But obviously he didn't understand what Krishna is saying. Because once you understand what Krishna is saying, there's no other option. You'll just do what you have to do. Because, you know, there's no other choice. If you don't like the choice that's presented to you, it means you got a problem. It doesn't mean reality's got a problem. It means you got a problem. Because unless you respond appropriately, you're just going to, what? Be unhappy. So this is all about how to act here in this world. Respond to every situation. Life is asking you every minute or two, you're asked to respond. And you need to stand up and respond. That's your duty. Because you're here, it's your duty to respond. You know, we don't think like that, do we? We think life's here is what? Just to make us happy. But we're here to make life happy. Okay? Also, life will make you happy if you're willing to make life happy. But if you don't want to make life happy, then life's not going to make you happy. Yeah? It's a two-way street here. It's not all about me and what I want. Got to get this clear. The ego's got that notion, particularly in our societies, which are desire-oriented societies. It's all about me. And if there's anything left over, then maybe I have something to give. You know? But this is a whole different attitude that he's going to talk about now. That Arjuna needs to understand, that we need to understand. See, because it's this conflict with life and our environment that's what? Producing all this suffering. And that's born out of this attitude, and the attitude that we have is born out of our understanding or lack thereof. And so Karma Yoga, you're going to see, is based upon knowledge. It's based upon an understanding of the nature of reality. And that attitude will be inevitable if you understand this teaching. If you don't understand this teaching, then there's no point in even trying to do Karma Yoga. You won't be doing it for the right reason, and it won't have any effect. So, now Krishna is going to explain what he can do, because he doesn't get it. Now listen to the wisdom of yoga. Now we're talking yoga. This is called Sankhya or Vedanta. So far, we've done Vedanta. That's his knowledge. Sankhya, it's called, or Vedanta, is just knowledge of who you are. Now yoga, what? Yoga is something else. And what is yoga? What is the purpose of yoga? To free you from bondage to action. You know that feeling that you have to do certain things? Huh? That feeling that I have, that compulsion, you can't be comfortable unless you do certain things. That's called the bondage to action. You should not feel compelled to do things. You should just respond appropriately. Your action should just be free of tension. My namesake, my spiritual name is Ram. And my namesake is a god named Ram. And Ram is a warrior. And whenever they depict Ram as a deity, he always has a bow. The bow is a symbol of Ram. All the deities have certain symbols called, and his is a bow. And this, it's a very interesting symbol, because whenever they present Ram as a deity, there's no string on the bow. The bow means your ego. That's from which you shoot your actions, huh? You fire your actions into the world. But this bow's unstrung. Means what? There's no tension in Ram. Because he's a Dharma Raja. He's a guy that what? Follows Dharma and practices Karma Yoga. Dharma Yoga, Karma Yoga, same thing. Bhakti Yoga, all the same. He understands his principle. So when he acts, there's no tension in his actions. And it's this tension, this feeling that I have to do, that I have to perform, that we're dealing with. You don't have to. You should want to. You should enjoy it. Whatever you do should be pleasant and enjoyable and fun. You shouldn't be what? Oh, I've got to make money. Oh, I've got to do this. I've got, That's what we're dealing with here. That's the bondage that we're talking about, is that feeling. And Karma Yoga is going to what? Free us of that sense of what? Obligation. There's a great quotation. Bitten by the vipers of guilt, obligation, and responsibility, man suffers endless births and deaths in the ocean of samsara. It's that feeling of obligation and duty and responsibility, not that I have to do it, that we're trying to get rid of. That's called doership. Kartritva is the word used in the text. In this yoga, no effort is wasted, nor are any undesirable results produced. Hey, that sounds like a good deal, doesn't it? Means no matter what you do, you're going to get desirable results. Hey, we'll see how that goes when we explain the yoga. How there's no undesirable results. The doer is only interested in what? Getting desirable results and avoiding undesirable results. Isn't that right? You only want what you want, and you don't want what you don't want. But here, no matter what you do, it's desirable. The result is desirable. Hey, that's pretty cool. How does that work? Because that doesn't seem to fit into my idea of life at all, does it? No undesirable results. No effort is wasted. No matter what you do, you're not wasting any action, any time. Why aren't you wasting any time? Because you're what? You're getting closer to your goal. You're getting what? In this case, Karma Yoga is to get a pure mind. So every action that you do with this attitude produces a pure mind, which gets you what? Closer to your goal. Pure mind's not the goal, but a pure mind is necessary to get to the goal. It's a means to an end. And so through this action, through Karma Yoga, you're going to get a mind that's capable of inquiry and capable of assimilating the knowledge of Vedanta, the knowledge of who you are. So no action is wasted here. Every action is valuable and useful and will propel you to where you want to go. Even very little Karma Yoga protects one from great fear. Wow, that's pretty cool. The fear, there's always a fear when you're acting. When you're doing something, when you've committed yourself to some particular course of action, to some lifestyle, you've made some decision, there's always a fear. Is this going to turn out the way I want it to turn out? Is this going to deliver to me what I want to deliver to me? Maybe I've made a mistake here. What have I done here? Well, if you've got the Karma Yoga attitude, that whole worry about the fear about not getting what you want, that will go. Because it's not about getting what you want out there from the results of your actions. It's about knowing who you are. And Karma Yoga is directly related to self-knowledge. That's why it comes next. So we got to understand this. We're going to make our actions useful. For what? For moksha. I know. We had a question the other day. U.G. Krishnamurti said, I did all these actions and nothing happened. There's no connection between all the actions I did and who I am. Well, that's right, but that's wrong. It's right from one point of view, it's wrong from another point of view. So when you got, in Arjuna's obviously, he doesn't realize he's a self, he's still taking himself to be Arjuna. So for him, Karma Yoga is the solution to his problem. Okay. You should have a clear understanding about the nature of liberation, what moksha is. Now, hey, I should do the Enlightenment Myths story here, my Enlightenment Myths talk. Maybe tomorrow we'll do that. No, tomorrow's day off, isn't it? Maybe Monday we'll do Enlightenment Myths, because, you know all the stuff out there that tells you all the myths and stories about how you're going to get enlightened. You better get clear about what enlightenment is. Otherwise, you're going to like swallow all these enlightenment myths. You got to kill your ego. You got to stop your mind. You have to transcend your mind, etc., etc., etc. All down the line, there are all these notions out there in the spiritual world about what enlightenment is and what. We need to debunk all those myths, or you're not going to be able to what? Proceed with the inquiry. So it says that you should have a clear. Those who lack discrimination entertain many erroneous notions. And the modern spiritual world is just what? A huge potpourri of what? Erroneous notions. Unthought out notions. All of them, all of these enlightenment myths have a little bit of truth to them. This is why they're attractive. There's a little bit of truth to them, but there's also a little bit of ignorance to them. A little bit of untruth, too. They haven't been thought out. They haven't been vetted. They haven't been looked at in light of a complete teaching. In light of the what? The idea that reality is non-dual. All your enlightenment myths are based upon the belief that the apparent reality is actually a real reality. All of these experiential notions of enlightenment are based upon the belief that reality is a duality and that you can do these things to get this result, i.e. enlightenment. And we've already made it clear, you cannot do anything to get what you've already got. You can use action to get something you don't have. You can use action to get rid of something you do have. But to get what you already got, action's not going to work. You know, I was talking to God. God was like giving me some trouble. So I thought I'll give God a little trouble too. He thinks he's so smart. So I said, hey, Bhagawan, you think you're so great? You created the whole universe. You think you're so big. You create the whole universe. Well, I'll tell you, I got something you can't do. So Bhagawan looks at me like, are you kidding? Who's this wise ass? Who's this smart ass? And Ramji, he's an arrogant bastard. You know? I said, no, listen, seriously. Seriously. I got something you can't do. Okay, he says, what is it? So I said, give me a head on my shoulders. Go, huh? That's what I told you. I said, give me a head on my shoulders. And he was flummoxed. I saw this big question mark come on God's forehead. Huh? He looks at me, he says, well, I could flatten your head like a pancake. I could twist it like a pretzel. I could shrink it to the size of a pea. I could expand it to the size of the whole universe. But you're right. I can't give you a head on your shoulders. Why not? So I've already got a head on my shoulders. Huh? I've already got a head on my shoulders. God can't give me a head on my shoulders. I've got one. So if I think I don't have a head on my shoulders, I got a knowledge problem. I don't have an action problem, do I?